In today's video, it's all about absence management, and I'm going to explain the difference between absenteeism and presenteeism and look at some considerations. I'm Dr. Paul Simmons of Simmons Training. I'm going to start by showing you the PowerPoint presentation on absence management. And by the way, you can see me down here in the bottom of this screen. So this is the PowerPoint, and this is a 39-page PowerPoint display, but what I want to show you is about presenteeism and absenteeism. Understanding presenteeism. Let's take a look on full screen here. How would you define presenteeism? It's not a term that so many of us necessarily know. We understand absenteeism, about the idea of being absent from work. Well, first of all, presenteeism is the practice of coming to work despite having an illness or injury, and thus reducing your productivity and maybe the productivity of your colleagues. So presenteeism can be a bad thing, and there are reasons for this. The causes of presenteeism. Well, first of all, I want to just give an example of why presenteeism can be a bad thing. Why would it be bad for somebody to turn up for work all the time when they're sick? Well, one reason certainly would be if they've got the flu or they've got some kind of virus, and by coming to work, they're spreading that virus, and ultimately more people could be off work. So you don't want these people in the workplace where they could be spreading diseases. So that would be a prime example. So what are the causes? Well, one is job strain. People can be very stressed about their job. They want to protect their job. They're worried about losing their job. So they would rather turn up for work than put their job in danger. Likewise, they may be overcommitted to work. Some people are workaholics. They feel that they have to be there. They have to get the workload done. They don't feel like anybody can cover for them. So they turn up for work, even when they're sick. Again, time pressure. Time pressure can be a big influence on why people will turn up for work when they really shouldn't. They have set deadlines, they're under severe pressure, so they still turn up. Also, concern for others, such as their colleagues. This is a very noble reason for turning up for work, of course. You've also got the pressure from colleagues and managers. This does fit in with time pressures. Other people may get higher workloads if you don't turn up, if you're not there, and you feel guilty about this, so you just turn up for work. Work culture and ethics. It may be that in some workplaces, it can be seen as a sign of weakness, not turning up for work. Furthermore, you may not want to accrue more sick leave. It may send warning signals to your manager. You're worried about your job. These are very, very good reasons why people will turn up for work when they are sick and when they shouldn't be turning up for work. This is quite similar to the aforementioned points, job insecurity. You just want to turn up for your job, be seen to be working. You want to protect your job. These are good reasons why you would turn up for work when you shouldn't. There are benefits and there are risks to presenteeism. Let's look at the benefits. It can avoid making the person who's sick suffering alone at home. Sometimes people get lonely. They want to be with the colleagues. They want to be in the office. This is completely understandable. And it means that they're staying active by being at work. They're busy, they're moving, they're involved, they're keeping the brain active. This can also be important. But the risk, it can delay the healing process. People may stay sick for longer because their bodies or minds are not getting the rest that they really need. And as we've mentioned, there is the risk of transmitting diseases. This is not good for the company as a whole. It would be better normally if the employee in this situation stayed at home. And as a result of all these different things, you can very, very often have decreased productivity. So let me show you what we should be seeking to achieve as an employer or as a manager. Let me show you this diagram. So we want to try and change negative presenteeism into positive presenteeism. So we want to encourage positive presenteeism and reduce negative presenteeism. Let me give you an example. If somebody is playing football, let's imagine Joe Bloggs is playing football or soccer and breaks his leg. Now, by staying at home for months on end, Joe Bloggs may become depressed, may become very sad, may become withdrawn. And it might be the situation where he could quite easily go into the workplace. And by keeping busy, by mixing with colleagues, Joe Bloggs would be better to be present at work. As a manager, what you do to encourage this positive presenteeism is you make adaptations. You adapt the work role of that employee. So for example, you may reduce some of the task, you may change some of the task so that it's easier in terms of mobility, if he or she is in a wheelchair trying to convalesce. So you need to make adaptations as an employee. And by making these adaptations, you can encourage positive presenteeism. If somebody is clearly sick and should clearly be at home, such as because of a virus, then you want to encourage them to stay at home. You want them to be absent. So this is where we want to change negative presenteeism into positive absenteeism. If they clearly should be at home, such as because of a virus, you encourage them to be absent. You do not want them in the workplace. And then we have negative absenteeism. What you want to do with negative absenteeism is to either eliminate it or to reduce it and encourage the person to go to work. So you change negative absenteeism into positive presenteeism. So as an employer, as a manager, to reduce or eliminate absenteeism, there are a number of techniques. And these techniques are included in the absence management training materials that you see here. We have all these slides, and the solutions and all the things that you can consider are in the participants workbook and in the trainer's manual. That's in the absence management training materials. I will include a link to that below this video if you're on YouTube, or it should be on the page if you're watching this on the website. Let me give you an example of one way that you could reduce absenteeism. Can the workplace be made physically better? For example, is somebody off of work because they had an accident in the workplace, an accident that really they should not have had? Can you improve the physical work environment? Can you make it so that there's better airflow? You've also got the psychological work environment that can be improved, work-life balance, healthy living, and having a clear absence policy. Out of those 5 points, let's look at the second of those, and that was the psychological work environment. You could look as an employer, as a manager, at addressing the following issues. So are you, as a manager or as a company, are you putting excessive demands onto your employees, onto your staff, onto your team? Now, it may be necessary sometimes to push staff, but is it excessive? Is it too much? Is this putting your staff under too much mental pressure, too much mental stress? How can you correct this? Can you do something to improve on this and, in effect, to reduce absenteeism, negative absenteeism? Do you also give your staff a lack of control and autonomy? Do you make any attempt to empower your staff, to empower them, to make them feel worthy of the job and happy in their work, happy in their job? This feeds into the third point, which is a lack of appreciation. Staff need to feel appreciated. Sometimes you can say such simple things which will just be signs of appreciating your staff. You don't have to buy them gifts. You don't have to do anything extraordinary. Sometimes you just need to show little elements of appreciation just by some comment at the end of the day saying, "Thank you, great job." It doesn't always have to be something so significant. A lack of support is a big issue as well. Staff need someone to turn to if there's a problem, if there's an issue. So you need to make sure you've got a proper support structure. Do the staff know who they should turn to if they have an issue? And it will help to reduce negative absenteeism. A lack of meaning and impact. Staff need to feel that the job has some meaning. They need to feel really that they are making some impact. So you may need to be creative in the work roles and make some adaptations, but you want to make every employee feel that they have and are producing some meaning, some impact. Lack of opportunities for growth is a big issue for many people. Some people, they just don't care about, they're not interested in promotion. They're very, very happy in the job role they have. But for a lot of other people, they need to feel that there are opportunities for growth. Try to find ways to allow your staff to grow. A poor working relationship, this is also a problem. Now, a good example of that is to provide dealing with difficult people training to your managers. I just want to show you some of the training we have. Now, sometimes you can provide interpersonal skills training for your managers or for the employees themselves, delegation skills, intercultural communication, dealing with difficult people, conflict management, active listening skills. These are great topics to provide your staff so that you can improve the interpersonal skills, meaning the skills of communicating between staff. A lot of these training programs can be done as 2-hour training programs, so it doesn't take away a lot of the employees' time, but they feel that they're getting training. It helps with the communication between staff, and you're only spending about £100 or about $130 to get a package, the full package, PowerPoints, etc., such as for the dealing with difficult people training programs. And there are some good training programs you can provide your staff. This will help with the interpersonal skills. Let's head back to the PowerPoint. Role ambiguity. So staff really need to be clear on what their role is, what is expected of them, what tasks and what jobs they are meant to do. So as a manager, you want to make this very, very clear. Make their role very clear. With boredom, it can lead to long-term absenteeism. A lot of these other points actually lead into this boredom part. If staff do not feel they have meaning and impact in their work, they don't feel that they have opportunities, they're not supported, they're not appreciated, they can begin to dislike their role as a whole, and this can lead to the boredom. You need to be creative as a manager, create ways in which the role can be interesting, talk to your staff as well, make sure that they are not bored. Find out if they're bored, find out ways that you can support them and you can improve their role. Unclear communication. Well, once again, interpersonal skills, you could easily offer communication courses like the intercultural communication, dealing with difficult people training. Just provide 1 or 2 hour courses for your staff. This will help to reduce negative absenteeism. That was just point number 2, the psychological work environment. I'm not going to go through the other 4 points now. They are all available in training course materials if you were to be interested. So that's just an introduction to absence management, just talking about one aspect of it. You can get the full training materials, of course, if you wish to download them. You can download them instantly from our site, simmonsresearch.com. If you have any comments, it would be great to get them below this video. There's the subscribe button. It's probably going to be just beside you. I'm not sure if it's that side or that side. Videos coming live to you every Thursday. Thank you for watching. See you again soon.